Hey, YouTube. Welcome. And what's up, Instagram? Dr. Dion Napier with Amplify Vocal Studio. Happy New Year, you guys. Today is Tuesday, January 2nd. And it's kind of been my trend or my pattern lately. I've been having some really good conversations with singers and teachers over on Instagram in my direct messages. And like, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm getting ideas for these lives. And so these lives are inspired by real conversations. And so I want to come and share. Today, I want to talk about why your classical voice teacher fears pop music styles. Let's just go on and get into it, okay? Why your classical voice teacher might be afraid of you singing classical styles, and we're gonna dabble into this fear a little bit, okay? And so I just recently had a conversation with a new singing teacher that I met on Instagram, and we were sharing, and she is a what am I trying to say? A professional artist, and she was hired by her university to come in and try to help build up their commercial voice program, which is fantastic. Kudos to that university for seeing the value that she could bring to the school, especially for the future of where the music is going. And she was telling me like she was surprised, like the amount of fear that some of the professors have when it comes to learning pop music styles or teaching pop music styles or just the idea of pop music. So this gave me some ideas because I got some thoughts about this and I want to share. So why is there fear around variety of tones within pop styles? One reason I believe is because of the lack of knowledge around pop music pedagogy. And this is in context to university voice professors or teachers who only know Western classical pedagogy and technique. There's largely a lack of knowledge or an ignorance around pop music. So typically, people are going to fear what they don't know. And that's you, that's me. When we lack knowledge around things, it's natural to have some fear and some hesitation around fully embracing it. Another thought that I had, and again, I always say this because I'm not coming on here to tear down university voice professors, honey. I am a product of vocal performance programs. I went to 3 universities and I had a fantastic experience when I was in university. I did. And all of my voice teachers were very well equipped. They helped me. They were fantastic. So let me just put that out there because I'm not mad at nobody. Okay. I'm just trying to share some light and I'm sharing my thoughts. Okay. So another thing why I think there's fear among these classical voice teachers is because and I can relate, like a lot of times in university, you got people that have doctorates and high level knowledge. These are people that study, you're always reading, you always learning, you know what I mean? And there is a pride that you take in what sometimes it can be mind idolatry. I'm just going to hit y'all with the spiritual side of it. It can be a little bit of idolizing the mind and the knowledge, and so it's hard to admit you don't know stuff. It makes you feel powerless or it makes you feel insecure. And I think that's some of the reason why the teachers push back from the pop, because again, it's really just arrogant pride. They don't want to admit that they don't know it. Okay. It's a lack of humility. Okay. These are just my thoughts. Y'all can take them or y'all can leave them. Y'all on my live. So that means y'all want to hear what I got to say. Feel free to drop your comments in the chat. Welcome on YouTube. Thank y'all for joining me at 4:00. I usually do not come in this late. And welcome Lynn on Instagram. I don't come in this late, but this conversation was just had, and I was like, let me go live. All right. So y'all can drop in the chat where y'all from or any thoughts. All right. The second reason why I believe that there's fear among these university professors when it comes to voice singing pop music is because many of the university professors believe the lie that pop music is harmful. Remember we talked about that? Y'all remember the conversation I did with about Frank Damrosch and all that stuff? Go back and watch my YouTube video, okay? So many of these voice professors believe the lie that pop music is harmful to the voice. And they've believed it for years. And many of them have possibly built their identity, profession, and sense of self-worth around that. Okay, so you think about that, So to disagree with that, for them, for the voice teacher, it can feel like they're losing their sense of self a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like if you built your whole career, your whole sense of self-worth around this thing, teaching voice, teaching classical voice, and then you got to turn around and say, oh shoot, I've been wrong all this time. That's scary. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I can relate to that too. That's nothing against these voice teachers. It takes a lot of courage to say what I believed and built my whole life and career on was a lie. Most people are not going to do that. They just going to keep maintaining the lie, and they probably going to die believing the lie. Most folks, okay? So it does take courage, and I can relate to these voice teachers. You know, as a classical singer, again, I went to 3 universities. I got the DMA. I got the highest degree. I mean, I excelled. I did all the things. But when I graduated, really a few years before I graduated, I pivoted and went into a direct sales job. I had no experience with sales or nothing like that. So when I went into this new opportunity, a person that's used to excelling in singing, but now I'm in a new realm. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm starting at square one. I'm having to face my fear of talking about money. I'm having to ask folks for money. I'm having to learn how to make sales. Otherwise, I'm not going to have no money myself. So I have to break through the fear. I'm around top salespeople that are selling thousands of dollars worth of product, and I'm sitting in there making zero. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it can make you feel like, who am I? I excelled in this realm, but over in this realm, I ain't doing nothing. That can be scary. Do you know what I'm saying? So I have compassion for these for these classical voice teachers, and I understand how it can be scary to admit what I believe has been a lie. Because especially when you wrap your identity and stuff around it. I get it, okay? So I believe that's one of the reasons why there is fear among these classical voice teachers. They wrap their identity around this stuff, and it's like, no, I'm not coming away from this belief, okay? And then the third reason that I think that there's fear is because sorry, I got notes everywhere, y'all. Yeah, so really at the core, guys, oftentimes there's a fear of being vulnerable and making sounds that come from your soul and not your mind. And y'all have heard me talk about this. If you have followed me, if you have watched any of my videos on Instagram or YouTube or wherever, I talk about that. In commercial music, it is more so singing from your soul. Now, that does not mean that there is not a methodology and a pedagogy that goes with commercial singing. I know sometimes classical singers or our universities can make us think that or feel like that. You know, there's this inherent bias against pop music, and the idea is that it's just random and there is no formal pedagogy to support it, and that is not true. It's not true. Commercial style music has a pedagogy just like classical music, okay? So, but largely the singing in commercial music, because the goal is not just about displaying the beauty of the voice, but about telling a compelling story and moving people's emotions. You have to know how to sing with vulnerability, and you have to not be held back from just bearing your soul, okay? So here's the thing. If you're afraid to sing with soul, you will always hide behind formulas. I'm going to say that again. When you're afraid to sing with soul and be vulnerable, you will always hide behind formulas. And that's the thing with a lot of us classical singers. We like the formal 1, 2, 3, 4 box structure of classical. So when we cross over and try to sing commercial music and you have to bare your soul, you're uncomfortable with that. You almost feel like you locked up. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're not used to making these sounds from your soul that aren't refined and beautiful and can't be notated. You got to make the sounds that can't be notated. Okay? Example, Alicia Keys. I love Alicia Keys. Y'all probably love her too. She's a great musician. Oh, this lighting is horrible. Hold on, y'all. I don't usually go live this late, and so the sun. I'm sorry on YouTube. Sorry, I just caught this reflection. I remember where I'm at though. Alicia Keys. Sorry, this is going to be kind of... Okay, there we go. Okay, so Alicia Keys, right? She sings, no one, right? She's like screaming. Honey, that technique is not secure. We don't want to be singing notes like that. But we love Alicia because she's singing from her soul. So it doesn't matter about how technically accurate she is. It doesn't matter if her pitch is right in the center. It doesn't matter because she's making you feel something. That's the thing. When you cross over to sing commercial music, you have to get comfortable with being vulnerable, not hiding behind formulas, classical singers, not hiding behind only doing vocalises and never crossing over to experience your voice in the contemporary music. Okay, come on, because I know about it. I've been there as well, because it feels it can make you nervous because you're not used to singing that music, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna sound good and all of that. That's a part of the journey. That's a part of the breaking through. That's a part of the trying. You have to try. You cannot be afraid of quote unquote failing or sounding bad. Okay, failure is proof that you're trying. If you're not failing, you're not trying. If you're not trying, you're never gonna change. Okay, so you have to change your mindset, and you have to get away from the now. Do the vocalises, do the exercises. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. But at some point, you got to cross over and apply that in real contemporary style music and see where you at. You just got to open up and let it go. Okay. So anyway, I think that's it. Soul is risky, it's taking a risk. You have to take a risk when you sing in contemporary music. So those are reasons that I feel like there is fear in academia, and there may be more, but sometimes the voice teachers will resist pop music. I feel like it's fear. It's, again, lack of knowledge around pop music pedagogy. They don't know how to teach that style of singing. Number two, they believe the lie, and that pop music is harmful, and they built their identity around it, and so it's fearful to come out of that belief. And then also there's fear of being vulnerable and singing from the soul, not just from a formula. Okay, so that's it. What's up? I got people on YouTube, on Instagram. What's up, y'all? Welcome for joining me. Let me know if y'all have any questions, any comments. I know this sun is so bright. I'm sorry, YouTube. But let me know if y'all have any questions, comments, thoughts. I would love to hear what you're thinking while I get a sip of water. I would love to know what you're thinking. Again, and I've had some questions, and I know that what I'm doing, who I'm talking to, like, this is new, because usually you have voice teachers that only teach classical or only teach commercial. They don't combine the two. So I understand that this is new, and I'm primarily talking to classically trained singers that went through a university system or have a classical leaning technique, but you want to cross over and learn how to sing pop styles without sounding operatic. That's who I'm talking to. Okay, so if you're a beginner, if you have any foundational voice technique, if you are intermediate and kind of, in between, I'm not going to be the coach for you. I'm just going to tell you that up front, okay? Because y'all been reaching out, and so I'm going to have to keep saying that for a minute, until y'all get used to me. I'm not training beginners, and I'm not training intermediate singers. Now, it's not that I cannot, and I love y'all. I don't want y'all to think I don't love y'all. Y'all want to sing, I want y'all to sing, okay? But for me, what I'm doing is missional. It's not about who I can teach, but who I'm called to teach. And right now, I am called to speak to advanced level classical singers and contemporary artists that are professional level that need help with cross training, vocal cross training. That is who I am best called to serve right now. Okay, so if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate, I love you, but you probably ain't gonna get a lot from my content, okay? Because I'm talking to a specific group of folks. So January the 11th, I'm hosting my Basics of Mix and Belt 4-week live course for classically trained singers and contemporary artists. This course is going to help you learn how to mix without flipping into a weak falsetto. It's going to teach you how to belt without killing your throat and extending chest voice higher than it needs to go. And it's going to help restore trust in your raw, organic chest voice sound, that primal sound, because many of us in classical singing, we are so far removed from singing at the level at which we speak. And so I want to help you get back to that. Those are going to be the beginnings of getting you to sing commercial music and sounding authentic and not sounding classical. Okay, so if you're interested in that course, if that sounds like something that you want to join, I only have 7 seats open. You can DM me Mix on Instagram. This sunlight is horrible, y'all. I'm about to hop off. Thank y'all for hanging with me. Sorry, the lighting is so bad. But you can DM me Mix on Instagram, or you can click the link in my bio over on Instagram or in this description, and you can submit an application. Okay, the registration deadline closes January the 9th. So again, that's basics of mix and belt. If you're a classical singer, you want to learn how to mix and belt and sing commercial music, I got you. So just find it on Instagram, look at the description, and I'll be back probably later this week. Thank you guys for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.